Alrighty, looks like we've got Plunder and Renaissance today. Two projects from Renaissance. Fleet's an extra turn, Barracks is a village. Looks like the only draw here is Stowaway, which is pretty limiting. It's just averaging +1 card per Stowaway, and it's a duration card, so you're only getting the effect every other turn. You got 6 Stowaways in your deck, and you're playing at most 3 per turn on average. That's not a lot. For villages, there's Barracks, which is like 1 village. And then Hideout. Hideout notably is draw negative. It says +1 card, but you also have to trash a card from your hand. It's not optional. So like if you were playing a Hideout every turn to play an extra Stowaway, you're actually just spinning your wheels there. I mean, you're also trashing a card if you want to do that. But in terms of actually increasing your hand size, you're not. So it doesn't seem like this kingdom's going very far. For trashing, there's Hideout and Pickaxe. Plenty of plus buy. Jeweled Egg is the only plus buy in the kingdom itself, but Jeweled Egg, Cutthroat, and Pickaxe all give you access to the loots, most of which say plus buy on them. So I think I want a bunch of Stowaways. I don't think I'm too concerned with Hideouts. I think if you want to play more than the allotted number of Stowaways, you can just gain an extra duration card to trigger them. And I mean, before Stowaways out, just buying more Stowaways triggers them. You probably want a Hideout or 2 to get rid of the coppers in the deck, but you don't need to have like a number of highways or Hideouts equivalent to the number of Stowaways. So Stowaways, probably 1 to 2 Hideouts. Cutthroat looks like a decent attack here, just because it's -2 cards and card draw is limited. If you're playing with Pickaxe, maybe Sculptor to gain some of this stuff. If Sculptor gains a Stowaway to hand, you'll have a Stowaway in your hand, and then it can immediately react to its own gain, because it's also a duration card, and then play itself for free. That's kind of cute. Yeah. That's my main thoughts. Got the 4/3. My first instinct is just double cargo ship, probably. Likely to hit 5. If you find a cargo ship turn 3, you can play the 5-cost card as early as turn 4. Obviously, it's some risk of terminal collision, but I think the upside is pretty high. You could Pickaxe them later if they end up being less useful. I think I just like double cargo ship. I also want Hideouts, but if you're opening with Hideout, I think you're trashing an estate, in which case it's not doing all that much immediately, because you just turn an estate into a victory card, which will then have to be trashed again later. Turn an estate into a curse, which will have to be trashed again later. Or you trash a copper, and then it's kind of getting in the way of hitting 5. Well, this is unfortunate. I guess I'll take the Hideout now. Don't particularly want... yeah, this ain't going great. This opening was intended to hit 5. Did not succeed at that. Alright, let's take a Stowaway. Play that Stowaway. Set aside this Stowaway. Alright, trash a copper. Play the cargo ship, play the Stowaway. Bot says first 5 is Sculptor. I think I'm leaning towards Pickaxe. I would love to Pickaxe an estate or 2. Really lowers the amount of stuff that my Hideout needs to do. And here I guess I'm buying a Cutthroat because it plays the Stowaway for me. Probably want to buy Barracks at some point and make a lot of these turns a little bit simpler. Bot went with a second Pickaxe immediately. Interesting. If I gain a second Pickaxe here, I'll trigger my own Cutthroat and immediately get the loot. Wouldn't mind 2 Pickaxes. I'm leaning towards, I think, just taking a Sculptor to pick up these Stowaways, and then whenever my Pickaxe trashes something and turns it into loot, I'll get the Cutthroat back that way. I think I prefer that. I do care about getting a bunch of the Stowaways. Alright, so here I'm going to sculpt a silver so it comes with a villager from the Sculptor effect, and then I will Pickaxe the silver, get the cutthroat back. Oh, that's cute. I was going to buy a duration card to trigger these stowaways, but I gained Amphra, which just happens to also be a duration card, so I get to play these for free. Okay, I'll probably just buy Barracks now, I think. I'm not sure if that's necessary, but it feels like it's going to make a lot of these turns a little bit smoother. Also, notably, Sculptor, it could gain Jeweled Egg, and then the pickaxe could trash the Jeweled Egg and get a loot. But despite Jeweled Egg being specifically designed to give you loots when you trash it, that's actually just straight up worse than gaining a silver and doing the same thing. Because pickaxe trashing a Jeweled Egg, you're not going to get a loot off of the pickaxe, it doesn't cost 3 or more. You're just going to get a loot from Jeweled Egg, which goes to your discard pile. Pickaxe trashing a silver is going to put it in your hand. And so that's just straight up better than Jeweled Egg here, at the thing Jeweled Egg is supposed to be good at doing. Okay, what do I do with this Sculptor? First instinct is just gain more stowaways, that is what it's for. That's probably correct. Play that. Got 10 money. It's a pretty big number. I feel like my goal is not to build all that big here. What am I buying? With 7 stowaways left, Province feels too early. I would like to have a bunch of stowaways if I could get them, and there's a bunch of them there, so I should probably keep doing something productive. If stowaways were lower, I could see like Province Border Guard being more reasonable. Maybe just Sculptor and another pickaxe. I'll set aside this Sculptor and buy the pickaxe. Don't think I'll top deck it. Maybe I wouldn't mind a second Cutthroat. The Cutthroat attack actually does kind of hurt. I got the pickaxe coming in. I think I'm going to discard this way so I can trash this copper. Okay. Attack. And just more stowaways, I suppose. Play that and buy me another stowaway. How do I still have 2 estates? One of them's getting trashed here for sure. Possibly both. Okay, yeah, probably both are getting trashed here. Gain another one of these. So, I could play both cargo ships, trash 2 estates, buy a province probably. Or I could pickaxe one of the cargo ships. Yeah, I'd rather pickaxe one cargo ship, I think. I get my Cutthroat back, and the bot doesn't have one in play yet, so it doesn't rescue its own. Gain the loot. I'll set that aside. Trash an estate. And probably should buy Fleet before I buy the first province, right? Fleet's effectively victory points, because it's an extra turn you'll always take at the end of the game, so it's probably getting you like a duchy or 2. And in terms of effective victory points, the one that isn't clogging your deck is better than the one that is. So probably Fleet and something. I don't know what the something is. Take a Fortune Hunter. Impulse buy there. But it seems decent. It's very likely to find a treasure, and if it is, that's +1 card. It's not a bad effect. Worst case scenario, you get pickaxed. The bot gained a Jeweled Egg. Dare I ask why? Hard bot, you know better than that. I just went on a whole long rant as to why trashing a Jeweled Egg with pickaxe is just straight up worse than gaining a silver and doing the same thing. They gotta have that shield in their hand and 3 extra money here. Okay. Gain a stowaway. And I guess this one ought to be a silver to preserve the villager. Yeah, I think this cutthroat attack is kind of nasty. I'm not sure I want to top deck that. Maybe I shouldn't have. Well, I like having the stowaways on top. Yeah, I think that's... Does the bot have its cutthroat in play? It can't, right? That's not what I meant to click. I think there's a pretty good chance I'm getting cutthroat attack next turn, in which case it would behoove me not to have 5 good cards on top. Presumably I just want this now. Go ahead and take a province and the last stowaway and a border guard, I guess. Maybe I should add an improve. The hideout is kind of running out of targets. Wouldn't mind playing improve, playing hideout, and then turning the hideout into a duchy. That sounds like something worth considering. Could have been a reasonable alternative to border guard there. Ouchie. Yeah, for sure I can trigger that. I'm probably, I don't know. I think I'm going to do it this way. Worst case scenario, the hammer can gain a cargo ship and play these stowaways. The bot just now got barracks. Seems a tad late to me. Okay, well that was a little bit sad. Just for that, I am for sure getting a improve here, and that fortune hunter is going to die. I'll set that aside. Gain me a cargo ship, trigger all of these, buy a province. I think I'm in the lead here. As far as I can tell, our decks are of similar quality. If anything, I think mine's slightly better because I believe I got a majority of the stowaways. I'm also ahead on points. I do wonder. So the bot's playing slower than usual because I am on an older computer than usual. And it can take a second. And I'm wondering if, does that also affect hard bot's play quality or only the play speed? Like, I don't know how old this laptop is, but it's up there. And I wonder if that's also going to mean hard bot's playing worse than usual. This feels like a kingdom that hard bot should be doing well at. And I don't know. I did just do double province, so maybe I'm underselling it, but it seems like it's playing worse than I would expect it to, given the kingdom. Probably just sextant immediately is more valuable than the stowaway. Okay. Yeah, I want to get this hideout into play, although I have nothing great to trash. I'll just sculpt the jeweled egg and trash that. Got me a free sword. Now I can improve the hideout. And I'm probably just gonna sculpting either cargo ship or silver is kind of equivalent here, because cargo ship plays the stowaway directly and silver gives me a villager which lets me play it. Take the silver, and is it better to just pickaxe the pickaxe or pickaxe silver plus doubloons? Pickaxing pickaxe Means I get 1 money from the 1 pickaxe plus 3 money from the loot. Pickaxing silver plus doubloons means I get 1 from pickaxe, another from pickaxe, 1 extra from silver because I'll most likely get a loot worth 3 instead of 2. So I'm making 1 less money if I trash silver and doubloons, or silver and gold. But I'm keeping a pickaxe, which may or may not be a good thing. That might be a bad thing. But I'm also getting 2 loots instead of just the 1. I think I'd rather just have the extra money. I'm not convinced that at this stage of the game, more pickaxes in my deck is actually better. Okay. Ooh. I think I discard the stowaways. It's quite likely this game only lasts 1 more turn. The safer thing to do is probably... let me think. I'm probably buying 2 provinces here, right? Yeah, I'm going to discard them. I think the biggest threat is I buy 2 provinces, and then the bot buys 2 provinces. Then we enter the fleet turn, and then the bot outscores me on the fleet turn, right? That seems true. And if that's the case, then having a bunch of stowaways in my hand would be really bad. If the game lasts 2 more turns, I would like to have the stowaways for draw, but I think the risk there is too great. Sword is going to be a little bit annoying. Interesting to me that Border Guard reveals the cards, but then I don't get to see which one is... So I guess that makes sense. So like step 1, reveal the cards, but then I guess you stop revealing the cards before you put one into your hand. I was just noticing that although I get to see all 3 cards that Hardbot looks at for Border Guard, I don't actually get to know which one they chose, and I think that probably is the correct interaction there. Got 1 money coming in. Again, I think I'm just trying to make sure I hit a decent number here in the short term. If Hardbot takes 2 provinces, I for sure want as much money as I can get. If Hardbot takes 1 province, this is enough for me to take the last province. If Hardbot takes no provinces, well, I'm probably just going to be ahead regardless, because how did that happen? Yeah, Hardbot's later turns can get a little bit slower on this one. Come on. Okay, so yeah, left 1 province. This just feels like it's got to be a win. Not clear that playing the sword is going to matter. There's some chance Hardbot has 5 good cards, but likely it's going to have a victory card in his hand at this point. If I play the pickaxe, I turn the Endless Chalice into a loot. That's not really better either. Yeah. If this made me more money, I would do it, but I think it makes an equivalent amount of money either way. Order doesn't matter. Gain an estate. Province, duchy, estate. We're Hardbot to gain all of these. That would be 15, 21 more points. We could still win. It just needs 15 plus 8. I think it's 23 money for a win, right? 15 plus 4 estates would do the trick. Even 15 plus 3 estates is a win, right? Yeah, 15 plus 3 estates is enough. So, yeah, it just needs the low number of 21 and 6 buys. Something tells me it doesn't have that. This is just a normal 5-card hand, or 4-card hand technically. It didn't get any stowaways down. But you never know. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's literally impossible for Hardbot to have 24 or 21 money, given the composition of its deck and the number of cards in its hand. And here's my victory lap. Okay. Yeah, I think the stowaways were quite good. I like clicking those. And then aside from that, I feel like this is definitely more in the realm of a big money deck. I don't think I really had deck control at any point. You're just adding a decent bit of draw, and then otherwise your deck is just fill it with as much payload as you can get. I probably, with the power of hindsight, would have tried to fit in a second Cutthroat maybe at some point. I think the attack hurts a lot. Like, one Cutthroat attack is doing as much harm to your opponent's hand, potentially at least, as like 2 stowaways is doing in terms of benefit of drawing them -2 cards versus drawing them +2 cards. Obviously, they get to discard their worst cards, so once their deck starts getting full of green cards, it's going to be less true. But like in the mid game there, we were decently trashed, and so a Cutthroat attack is likely to discard 2 good cards. Or if it pitches a copper, that's stopping them from trashing a copper for the turn. So for a while at least, the Cutthroat attack was kind of nasty. And obviously, without deck control, you're not playing the one Cutthroat you have every single turn. So maybe I would try to add more of these. Obviously, it's easy to say in the abstract, more of the good stuff. I'm not sure where I would have fit that in or over what. Maybe over the second Sculptor or the second Pickaxe. Not sure about all of these. Fortune Hunter versus Improve versus Cargo Ships. I think I like adding an Improve to turn stuff into duchies if you have at least one hideout. I'm not sure. The Fortune Hunter did whiff one of the 2 times I played it, as I recall. One of the 3 times. So I'm not sure that one was worth it. The Cargo Ship opening, I think I made a mistake here. Turn 3, probably. Obviously, the draw didn't work out the way I ideally wanted it to. But probably I reacted incorrectly in buying this hideout. I don't think I counted it out or anything. I was just like, I'm probably going to hit 5 next turn anyway, because I'll have a 6-card hand. And maybe I should have checked a little bit more carefully. I think it's actually not very likely that I hit 5 on turn 4, given what I did here. I'm going to see 6 of my bottom 7 cards, right? Because I'll have a 5-card hand, plus I'll play the hideout. But there are also 2 estates down there. So the odds of me hitting 5 are equivalent to the odds that one of my 2 estates is the bottom card of my deck, which is just 2 and 7. So it wasn't actually very likely to hit 5. What I should have done was set aside something that makes money. In fact, you know what probably was better? I didn't really want a 3rd Cargo Ship very much, and adding a Fortune Hunter there would trigger a slightly awkward shuffle. I think the better buy here was Improve. Buy Improve, play it turn 4. That is 100% guaranteed to hit 5, right? Because worst case scenario in my hand is 3 coppers, 2 estates. Yeah, if I set aside Improve, I'm 100% guaranteed to hit 5 on turn 4. And then I can improve it into a hideout, which is the card I want long term. So that would have been a clear improvement over what I did. Pun not intended. And then I still get the hideout. I get to add a Sculptor or something earlier, or a Pickaxe earlier. So yeah, I think that was definitely a mistake. Not there. I shouldn't have set aside the hideout. But all's well that ends well.